What's up, guys? My name is Aaron Shabloski. If you've been following me for any sort of time now, you know over the past year I've transitioned from being a Division I linebacker to running my business, which was in the home service space. That's done over 400 grand in the last 6 months. And now I am making my transition into starting my financial planning firm. And I've gotten a little bit of slack for this because I am not sticking with the thing that initially brought me success. So in this video, I kind of wanted to go over my story and kind of why I'm doing what I'm doing, but more importantly, as I'll get into at the end, how to know what business is your business. What is your forever business? More importantly, if you have the vision of how you're going to eventually achieve your dream business, a lot of times it comes with you making the decision in the beforehand of how you're going to fund yourself, right? And so for me, I played college football at UC Davis for my first 2 years. I kind of did the whole, nobody recruited me. I was the last guy picked, walk on kind of vibe. Climbed the ladder, got to play a little bit, played against Cal and some other cool teams and stadiums and stuff. And I transitioned out of that because I knew that there was a goal to be achieved. And the dream was to play Division I football. And so now when I look at my situation and when I was exiting that, I said, I achieved the goal that was there. And so the same thing with my permanent lighting window cleaning business is the goal was for me to get the money to be able to fund my finance business, right? And also in doing that, create a sense of credibility and real credibility, right? I am now more credible speaking and financially advising business owners now that I have done a full year of managing payroll, managing inventory, and actually providing both a product and a service to people. And so I did this. I started out, I actually had a partner initial on, and we still work together. And it got to the point where there is now 4 equity owners in the business, and talked about bringing on a 5th who we actually had to transition. There was one guy in, we are going to have to buy him out just to bring 2 more equity owners on. And so my first kind of business revelation is my forever business is not something that I don't own 100% of. And I very well could end up selling part of my finance business off later on down the road. But to start, there needs to be one person, there needs to be one president. And that's the biggest lesson that I've learned. And so I did this business for the last 6 months, and we transitioned in July from when we were doing full-time window cleaning to when we were going to do permanent holiday lighting. And if you're in the home service space, you kind of know all about this stuff. But if you're not, basically Christmas lights that go up one time, you keep them year round. And it's kind of the guys that do window cleaning or things like that, that's how they make their money in, quote, the off season. And we made a killing, okay? We're gonna bring in over $400,000 this year and a great margin on that. And you gotta keep in mind, this is in 6 months of operating business. And so the initial comment of that was, why would you leave? If things are so good, this was like the biggest thing is like, oh, this guy's so dumb, he's making 85K a month and he's leaving, why? And I'm going to tell you why. It's because I know that not only because of the equity portion, but there's a limit on the business that I'm doing. And no matter what, every single business is going to have some sort of supply constraint or demand constraint. So meaning you can't fulfill. If you ran ads right now, you put $1 million of ad spend in, you wouldn't be able to return and fulfill on a capacity standpoint that would allow you to make that $1 million of ad spend profitable. If 1,000 people reach out to you right now, would you be able to serve all of them? Probably not. And then on the flip side of that, there is demand constraints, right? So if you ran $1,000 of ads or $1 million of ads, would people even want your stuff? Are you struggling to get money even in the door? And so for us, what I've noticed is that there is going to be a demand constraint at some point in my business. And there's a huge difference between having a demand constraint that's going to come in your business and having a demand constraint that's going to come into your business and you not liking that. Now, what do I mean? Essentially what I'm trying to say is that not every business is made for you to become a billionaire. So for me, even stepping into the window cleaning market, I'm in Sacramento, California right now. There's no way I'm gonna ever clean windows for somebody in Colorado because there's somebody that can do it in Colorado cheaper. And for me, I have the aspiration of creating a business that goes out and takes over the world. And so I know that there's an inherent limit somewhere between us where we are now to us becoming a nationwide company. And I don't know where it is, but I don't like it. I don't like the fact that there is some sort of constraint that is saying, hey, realistically, man, this isn't the business for you if you want to build something tremendous. And I think this is where, as entrepreneurs, when you're starting a business, you need to have the discussion of, hey, what's my floor, which for everybody is bankruptcy. And then there is, what is the actual ceiling of this? And understanding of, is that ceiling the goal? And what do I mean by that? So for me, I'm becoming a financial planner. I'm starting a financial planning firm. There is a ceiling on financial planning. I'm never going to become JP Morgan Chase, right? Where my firm has a bank and an investment bank, and we offer, we have billions of dollars, okay, under management. It's very possible for us to have a couple $1 billion under management, right? But we're never going to have 200 billion under management, right? Like, it's just not the reality of the business model that I'm going after. But I could build something pretty big. Something where we talk about a 15 to 50 million valuation is where some sort of independent financial planning firm is like gonna max out in terms of their possibility. And who knows, you could go bigger than that. But my point is it's never gonna be Apple. And even though I'm putting that constraint, that might seem soft, for me, my goal now in this business is to have a big enough exit that would allow me, or not even a big enough exit, but a big enough size of capital to allow me to, one, never have my family worry about money. Get to that level, you can be pulling home income of over $1 million a month and your family never worries about money. And then two, get to the point where I am able to make really, really, really sophisticated and fun investments with my money. I see that Shablosky Capital, my financial planning firm, is going to eventually turn into Shablosky Venture Capital. And that is what the goal of this whole thing is for me to get 10, 20 years down the line and say, hey, do I have 60 million in the bank, because of inflation, it'll be a little bit less, to the point where I can go out and start throwing money at different businesses and different charitable events to really have fun with it. And to get to the point where money is not really a factor in terms of my decision making. Alex Hormozi said, somebody defined rich as when you're at the point when more money doesn't change any way that you live. And I think that I will get to that point in my personal life very early on. And very early on meaning if my earning capacity ever, the most money I ever make in a year is $4 million, right? Realistically, somewhere around $300,000 is like the most that I'm ever going to need in a year. At least I think so. And so then what is the point of trying to make more? And for me, the point of trying to make more is get to the point where in my business life, I am able to go out and give people the opportunity to grow and give people the platform to grow in both knowledge and physical capital. I view myself at 20 years old right now as somebody who is starting a business and has so much to learn and has so much energy, but also can provide immense value in terms of what I know. And I know that my goal is to share this knowledge and hopefully the money with a future younger generation to bring people towards chasing their dreams and entrepreneurship. But I also understand that nobody's gonna listen to you without credibility. And the only form of credibility that you can gain is actually going out there and doing it. And also, with as smart and as capable and as ambitious as I might think I am, it's not real until you put it to the test. So as much as I might think I'm a highly productive person, or at 20 years old I've been able to achieve more than the average person my age, none of that matters until I do something with it. So if I decide right now to stop the train and not continue to push forward, everything that I would have done up to this point becomes seemingly insignificant. And that is why my point to you and to the kind of goal of this whole talk is you are only as good as what you have just most recently done. And this is why in your business, you need to make the decision of what you want to actually do and what it is that you want to grow towards. Because you have to make a decision of if you're going to start the local pizzeria, and you're going to make that restaurant, well, what's your goal? Is your goal to have a fun restaurant that people hang out at? Or is your goal to be the next Pizza Hut? And you have to really decide what that is. And it might be, hey, I'm going to start this pizzeria because I love it and I want to make money through it. But once I have money, I'm going to go become a real estate mogul. And that's really the dream. But regardless, you could start a great pizzeria. But if you go and fail in real estate, you're just a guy that owns a pizza shop. And so what you have to realize is that with age, comes certain levels of success expectations. And it's really dangerous to put on yourself like, oh, by 25, I need to be here. By 30, I need to be here. Because putting those timelines on yourself don't make you any better. But what you do have to understand is that once you get past the success that you just achieved, The future success that you're going to earn is all in your head. And so as entrepreneurs, as dream chasers, as people who want to achieve success, you might act and go about your day as if you've already achieved the dreams that are in your head, but in reality, nobody else cares until you actually do it. And this is why I'm even weary with sharing the plans that I have. For me, I'm not even going around acting like Schabloski Capital is like a real thing yet, my financial planning business. I'm talking about it as, hey, this is what I'm starting, this is what I'm going towards. When people ask me about my business, I say, yeah, things are going pretty solid. But I'm never just gonna ramble on. You know why? Because nobody cares. Nobody cares, especially until you've actually done it. I never talked about my business for my home service in like July of this year. When people asked me what I was doing, I was like, oh yeah, I'm starting up this business, right? I only talked about it after we hit some numbers in income that are pretty rare, pretty extraordinary, especially for people our age. And so passing that forward has been truly a blessing. And if you have beliefs, guys, if you have beliefs in this world, and this is what this is all about, finding which business that you're trying to do is all about finding what your beliefs are and what you want to do with those beliefs, right? So in turn, for me, my goal is to be able to consistently share my beliefs with people to get them to go towards God and to get them go towards ambition and work ethic and things like that. I like pushing people in that direction. And then you have to back end that of what am I good at? What am I passionate about? And what can I do to get people to trust me and believe what I'm saying? Okay, I was heavily inspired in the football world by this guy named Jesse Matthews, who played at San Diego State. He was a walk-on, and then he ended up going to play in the NFL. And he has such a great way of thinking and approaching life and his ambition and his fire to go and achieve the dream. As bad as it sounds, nobody would believe what he's saying if he didn't go out and do it. But because he went out and did it, now he's able to inspire so many people. So for you, in whatever business you're deciding, don't decide what is the business that I want to start. Decide what is the end goal from it. If you want to grow your business, if you want to grow your wealth and not just get rich on a spreadsheet, but get rich on your bank account, follow for more. I'm on all platforms and I'll be releasing all types of content for you to enjoy.